Ellen Hopkins, and this is all over. And I'll read from this one. I don't know if Identical's in that. It's in that district, but I don't know if it's in that school. I'd have to look that one up. But let me read. This is, if you come from trauma, sexual abuse, incest, warning, because this is going to rip a Band-Aid off. And that's what really concerns me, is that we have our minor girls that have been through sexual trauma reading a book, and all of a sudden it's opening a wound and the parents have no idea. This is on page 150, but it's throughout the book. Mom was gone. Can't exactly remember why, only that we didn't expect her to come home until very late. It was dark in our room. These are two identical twins. Velvety black. Someone had closed the curtain. Kaylee was scared. I tried to tell her not to worry, but just then, Daddy burst through the door. I closed my eyes and made myself no more than a shadow. Something about him was different. I didn't want that something to find me. I cracked my eyes just a slit as he sat on Kaylee's bed, pulled her into his lap. He smelled of brute and wild turkey, his peculiar potpourri. And now this is the dad talking to Kaylee while the sister is watching. I love you so much, my little flower. Daddy needs something from my girl, my sweet rose. Will you give it to me? I wanted to be his little flower. Side note, when you come from any sort of sexual abuse, incest, especially with the family member, especially with these young girls, you're confused over why pick her over me. I mean, because your vision of all of this stuff, your understanding is very different. So it's very normal that she's wondering, what's Daddy doing? I mean, she knows it's a little off, but to wonder, I want you to love me that way, not really understanding what that way is. So I wanted to be his little flower. Would have given my daddy anything. What did he want from Kaylee? She laid her head on his chest. What? I want you to see something that proves how much I love you. This is only for you, Kaylee girl. He lifted her gently, sat her down on the bed beside him. Then he opened the snaps on the fly of his flannel pajamas. It stood up, stiff. See how much Daddy loves you? Show me you love me too. Touch it. He closed her hand around it. I know it sounds bad, but I wanted to touch it too. I didn't know what it meant, only that it made Daddy happy. I wanted to make him happy too. That's right, his voice rocked rhythm with his body. Oh yes, my Kaylee, my little flower, you love me.
How old are those girls?
This chronicles from the time they were about 9 all the way through adulthood, and kind of the same scenes as they go through that.
And these books are in school libraries. Kids can pick it up.
I don't know one school. Kids, actually, Identical's in middle schools too.
Middle school is what age?
Middle school, let's see, high school starts around 14, so middle school's anyway like 11, 12, 13, 14, depending on, yeah.
Incest. Mm-hmm. Not just, I want to say, not just sex, not just pornography, pervert.
But yeah, and again, you're picking up a book, not knowing, let's say you come from some trauma, or let's say you just make it through that chapter. What seeds are reading that, especially with the sister looking on going, again, these aren't adults who've lived life. These are young people reading it, and you're 14 and you're reading this, and you get to the part where it's like, oh, I wanted Daddy to love me that way too. What does that do to a kid going through puberty, confused about their body, confused about their feelings? All of that stuff is normal, but this is what we're pouring into them while they're going through all those questions that they have in life.
What this book is all about in the first place?
Well, it's this gal is a little bit crazy, but it's about the sexual abuse that in the incest that they go through. And finally, at the end, she realizes that was misplaced love of my dad, but it's an awfully thick book to, again, not appropriate for minors and not appropriate for anyone that doesn't want to read that stuff. I mean, it's ripping Band-Aids off girls who have been sexually molested, whether it's incest or not. And again, there's just no literary value to it, which is what the other side always says. Oh, well, some of these books have literary value. No, there's nothing in this book that a 14-year-old has to read that has real literary value.
It's not based on a real story. It's just a
No.
fiction book.
This is a fiction book, Ellen Hopkins, and she has a ton of them. And she obviously had a traumatic childhood because her books are tricks, crank, glorify drug use, that was mild. And it's funny because in the documentary, they shut him down because he was using vulgarity. I knew the school district, they didn't know what to do when I read this because there wasn't one word that they could shut me down and say, you can't say that word.
Correct.
I mean, we had planned it that way.
It got hard.
Yeah, because it wasn't vulgar, but it made you sick to your stomach.
Correct.
It always makes me sick to my stomach when I read that. And so it's just really interesting that they didn't know what to do with it.